When deciding a topic for my research paper, I first quickly chose the topic of the U.S. President Thomas Jefferson. He was the third president of the United States and served for about 8 years in office. He was a very smart and talented individual. He had accomplished many things during his time in office, some of which are the Lewis and Clark expedition, which includes the Louisiana Purchase, as well as writing the draft of the Declaration of Independence and the prohibition of slaves in the United States. To start off, John Adams picked Thomas Jefferson to write the draft for the Declaration of Independence. He thought that he was a more knowledgeable and passionate individual to write the Declaration of Independence. Jefferson only wrote the first rough draft of the document, for it is well known today that Jefferson gets all the credit for it. However, he only did a small part of the puzzle. Adams also helped get the document processed along with to get it ratified. However, Jefferson still got almost all of the credit for writing the Declaration of Independence. The next accomplishment that Jefferson had during his presidency was the Louisiana Purchase. The Louisiana Purchase helped double the size of the United States. They purchased about 827,000 miles of land west of the Mississippi River. And Jefferson was able to get a deal on this, only spending $15 million on the land. With all this new land that the United States had acquired, there was a lot of unknowns that were out there. So in order to discover what was out there, Jefferson looked to the military generals Lewis and Clark. Lewis and Clark were in charge to go out and discover this new land that the U.S. had just purchased. Within doing this, they were accompanied by many other men, as well as a native woman named Sacagawea. Sacagawea helped navigate them during their journey to show them how to go different places. Lewis and Clark kept journals and maps of everything that they saw in the new area. They took all of this stuff and reported it back to Thomas Jefferson, who then sent it out to other people so that we could continue to inhabit this new land and make it part of the U.S. today. Some of the new things that they discovered on this journey were plants and animals. Some of the plants were bitterroot and ponderosa pine. Other mainly known animals that were discovered in the new territory were grizzly bears, antelope, and prairie dog. So those are just a few of the many, many new species and plants, as well as the new type of land discovered in this new area. The next accomplishment that Jefferson had during his presidency was the prohibition of importing slaves into a port or place within U.S. jurisdiction. Although Jefferson hated slaves and thought they were wrong and very inhumane to society, he did own over 200 slaves, with most of them being under 16 years old. The economy needed slaves at the time to survive, which is why Jefferson had kept these slaves within his plantation. He, however, still strongly disagreed in them, and he did what he could to prevent the spread of slaves over time. Overall, Jefferson had many amazing accomplishments during his presidency. One of my main takeaways or things that surprised me the most on this topic was how jealous John Adams was over Thomas Jefferson getting most of the credit for writing the Declaration of Independence. This was crazy to me because Adams didn't technically do all the writing of it. He still spent a lot of his time to get it sent in so it could get completely ratified and become our official Declaration of Independence. Overall, Thomas Jefferson had many amazing accomplishments in his presidency, which is one of the main reasons why I chose him for this topic. It is crazy to think that in only 8 years of his presidency, he was able to accomplish so many things.